Okay, so we got this video from Dusted. This is a good channel that covers some action sport stuff, and it kind of does like the rise and fall, downfall-y type videos, very concise video essays. But we're gonna learn about Gator, the pro skater who became a murderer and did terrible, terrible things. But I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer that like this is extremely serious subject matter. This is people's life and death. Like people, lost their life and lost everything. So I think we need to approach it with the right kind of like tone. And it's not just like, haha, funny video to react to. It's like, this is real life. But let's go.
Former professional skater Mark Gator Rogalski is currently serving a lifelong prison sentence for crimes he committed back in the early 90s. However, despite being convicted of committing absolutely terrible crimes, he somehow maintained support from various members of the skateboarding community throughout the year.
Does he though? Surely not. The one sad thing about this is like, if you ever have a pro board and then you kill someone or commit some kind of heinous crime or do some terrible, terrible thing, the value of your boards goes way up. It's kind of sad.
And recently, there's even been a push for his release from prison.
Damn, for real? Like, we're just starting the video, but in general, I feel like I always love very harsh penalties for violent crime.
And why is he going to be released? Born August 10, 1966, Mark Rogalski was raised in Southern California, which is often considered the skateboarding capital of the world. Growing up in the heart of the skateboarding industry, it should come as no surprise that he first started skateboarding at 7 years old, and was able to turn pro by age 14. His aggressive style, impressive skill level, and his catchy nickname, Gator the Skater, all helped him stand out among other pros. Throughout the early stages of his career,
such an 80s
he would often
name.
excel in smaller local competitions before going on to win more major contests. In the years that followed, he would continue this winning streak while collecting a list of reputable sponsors along the way. During this time, a lot of among other pros. Throughout the early stages of his career, he would often excel in smaller local competitions before going on to win more major contests. In the years that followed, he would continue this winning streak while collecting a list
Gullwing Trucks,
of reputable
GNS
sponsors along the way.
Vision Streetwear.
During this time, a lot of major names in skateboarding were being established. Tony Hawk, Christian Hosoi, Steve Caballero. Many legends in skateboarding were being formed, and Gator was right alongside them. Skateboarding had been around since the 60s, but the boom the industry was experiencing in the late 80s pushed skateboarding to an entirely new level.
Like that?
This was a rare time period when professional skateboarders like Gator were treated like rock stars. Thousands of people.
If I recall correctly, Gator was kind of like the generation just pre Tony Hawk and Hosoi. I thought it was like the Dwayne Peterson era, and Gator was like a little bit that, and Tony Hawk kind of came in as the new wave. But I could be a little bit wrong on that.
People would show up to watch him skate. Lines of skaters would wait to get his autograph. Groups of girls would hang out at contests hoping to see him. He was living every skater's dream. Not only was he traveling the world skateboarding, but he was getting paid incredible sums of money to do it. It's estimated that between all of his sponsorships, Gator was earning upwards of $40,000 to $50,000 per month. Still being a young kid, Gator let a lot of this go to his head, fully leaning into the attention that he was getting. He began marketing himself as Gator the Skateboarding Extraordinaire, and when fans talk about how he acted during this period, there are a lot of negative opinions. This guy was a real jerk. Met him in 1988. He usually plays 4th or 5th on vert, but for this competition, he actually got 1st place, beating out Tony Hawk and Christian Hosoi. Sad when the only 2 things you can remember about him is he acted like a real a-hole and that he came in 1st place.
I mean, a lot of people that are successful are assholes, I feel like. So
Gator was more in love with being famous than he was with being a skater. Sad, sad, sad. Skating is the best thing ever. Being famous is for fools. Unfortunately, what Gator didn't realize was that at that time, skateboarding was simply a trend. All of the fame, money, and status that he was receiving wasn't going to last, and things were about to get very difficult very quickly.
Sounds like an understatement.
Skateboarding can be a bit rough, so having gear that can last is important. And today's sponsor, Exter, has some of the toughest wallets you can buy. The Exter.
We got a wallet sponsor. Nice. What
blocking space grade material.
What country is that money?
Lightweight and durable.
What currency is this?
And today's sponsor, Exter, has some of the toughest
wallets we watched the ads.
The Exter aluminum card
what currency is
made
this?
Out of RFID blocking space grade
Saudi
material,
Arabia?
Making it both lightweight and durable. Even though it holds up to 12 cards plus cash, it's still extremely compact. and has a great pop-up feature that makes it super easy to access your cards quickly, so you don't have to fumble around while you're standing in line. It has an expandable aluminum backplate if you want to carry more bills, and it comes in 14 different colors and patterns that will match pretty much anyone's preference. The card holder also works perfectly with their solar-powered tracker device that allows you to track your wallet from your phone, so
that seemed like it was
you
kind of
never
big.
have to worry about losing your wallet again. The extra wallet is the perfect holiday gift, and if you use my code DUSTED, you can get up to 55% off.
I still got a leather wallet, feels better in my pocket, hell yeah. But I feel like when you react, you leave the brand deals in.
In 1987, Gator met a young girl named Brandy McLean and her good friend and aspiring model, Jessica Bergsten. Soon after meeting, Gator and Brandy would begin a long and rocky relationship that would last for several years. After convincing Brandy to move out to California with him, Gator introduced Brandy to the extravagant lifestyle that he was living. She got to see firsthand how massive his career had grown, even landing a spot alongside him in Tom Petty's music video for the song Free Falling.
Damn, really? I didn't know that. Should we fact check that right now? Should we watch the skating in it?
The romantic period of the relationship would only last for so long though, and as time went on, things would take a much darker turn. Towards the end of the 80s, skateboarding's popularity began to die down rapidly. Not only did the trend of skateboarding pass, but the few skateboarders who remained stopped skating on big ramps like Gator and began skateboarding in the streets instead.
I like how he explains this because he's targeting non-skaters for this story. So I love how he doesn't say street became popular and vert was dying. I like how he says it like that. I love listening to skaters talk to non-skaters.
Skating on big ramps like Gator and began skateboarding in the streets instead. As a result, Gator's royalty checks were consistently getting cut in half month after month, with his main sponsor, Vision Streetwear, eventually going bankrupt altogether. The skate industry as a whole was on a decline, and the type of skateboarding Gator was known for was declining even faster. This was something that he didn't handle very well. As his career struggled, Gator became much more reclusive and increasingly aggressive and controlling over Brandy. Not only was he not hanging out with other skaters as much, but he was trying to prevent Brandy from socializing with others as well. In an effort to revive his career, he tried out several personal rebrands, including changing his name to Gator Mark Anthony and even attempting to build a career in street skateboarding. Unfortunately, none of it was successful. His street skateboarding abilities weren't anywhere close to his ramp abilities, so his skate career had all but died out completely.
Damn, that what to grind? Yo, street plan to grind is a sick one.
His skate career had all but died out.
You got to do that on a down hubba.
Out completely.
Street plan to grind down the hubba, that would be actually sick.
Tries to street skate, kids laugh at him, and he was desperately grasping at straws, trying to figure out what would work to get him back to the lifestyle he used to have. And then slowly just got worse and worse, and he did worse and worse things.
He was coming out of his forming years, having a lot of success, a lot of recognition and renown, and possibly a bit of confusion with his own identity.
He was an idol, and then you're not that big of a deal anymore. Disposable hero, just.
I mean, I feel like these must be after everything happens. But it's interesting how they putting this before all the terrible things are about to occur.
See you later.
But they must be talking from
that,
past
his increasingly
everything.
possessive behavior eventually led to Brandy finally breaking up with him, which only caused him to spiral even more. Following the breakup, Gator began drinking heavily, and his sporadic behavior started becoming dangerous. He would enter her home and steal gifts that he had given to her, he would make threatening phone calls to her new boyfriend, and he would even threaten her directly. He was becoming so unhinged that at one point, Brandy called the police and informed them about Gator's behavior. But sadly, nothing was done. Unaware of how things had unfolded in prior months, on March 20th, 1991, Brandy's old friend Jessica Bergsten reached out to Gator, since she had just moved to San Diego and was hoping to have someone show her around. The following day, on March 21st, Jessica and Gator spent the afternoon together, but soon after that, Jessica was reported missing. A few weeks later, on April 10th, campers in the Shell Canyon Desert found a heavily decomposed body that was later identified as Jessica.
Damn, man.
Overwhelmed with guilt, Gator would then come forward and confess to the assault and murder, leading police to where everything had happened and recounting the details of what took place. In his confession, Gator allegedly conveyed that he had killed Jessica in a misplaced act of revenge towards Brandy, calling Jessica the mold that Brandy was made out of, allegedly saying,
but he has this long relationship with the other girl, and then the girl's friend is the one that gets
Because
killed.
she was older than Brandy and she influenced her heavily during the first couple years of her teens, it was basically Brandy with a different body, but the same personality and everything. He apparently
What the fuck? It's such a weird thing
told
to
Jessica,
say.
everything that you are, I despise. I hate you and I hate everything that you stand for. You made my girlfriend what she is today. He allegedly told police that Brandy had been cheating on him and that he originally planned to kill her about a week earlier. When Jessica just so happened to reach out to him a week later, he took his anger out on her instead. But this is where things get confusing. Oddly enough, despite clearly knowing he was guilty and even admitting to it, there were several people claiming that Gator told them the whole thing was just a kinky relationship that had gone wrong, and he would be completely cleared during the trial. Considering he pleaded—
Wait, what? Or they're saying he will be cleared. There was like a bit of a thing with 9 Club that were on this where one of the guys was kind of like saying the story of that Gator didn't do anything too wrong or whatever. It was an accident. And then the 9 Club got a lot of shit for not like saying like, yo, what the fuck? That's not what happened. They got a lot of heat for just like nodding along and like sort of like co-signing on the story rather than like confronting the person. I can't remember the guy's name.
Pleaded guilty and admitted to everything. This obviously wasn't how things unfolded. Regardless, it would be a rumor that somehow lasted for decades and would evoke sympathy from those unaware of the situation. On an episode of the popular skate podcast The 9 Club, a well-known skate photographer who was around in the 80s even repeated this rumor back in 2022, a full 30 years after it started. The claims received harsh and widespread backlash almost immediately by the entire skateboarding community, and the segment was quickly cut out of the podcast, which goes to show that most people know the truth and empathize with Jessica and her family. However, for anyone at all to believe that rumor after so many years was shocking for people to hear. Ultimately, Gator received a prison sentence of 31 years to life, 6 years for one crime, and 25 years to life for the first-degree murder charges. But he's since become eligible for parole, which has caused a bit of tension for those involved with the case. In statements and interviews, Gator does seem to own his mistakes and express remorse, but the crimes he committed are hard to forgive, and many people still haven't moved on, with members of Jessica's family pushing for him to remain in prison, and many members of the skateboarding community still holding resentment.
I mean, not resentment. I feel like if you kill someone in cold blood like that, stay in jail. Hell yeah, stay in jail. What the hell? Like, I don't know. Is there any coming back from that? It's not like it was some kind of accident or whatever, you know? It's not like there's like any really like, there's like nothing you can really say.
Even so, there are some people who believe that he's a reformed person who should be let back into society.
His crime is tragic and horrific, but he has done everything a person could possibly do to make amends, to rehabilitate himself, to try to help others inside the prison to see the error of their ways as well.
This has resulted in a back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, it's a complicated situation, right? But I kind of feel like if you just kill someone in cold blood in an extremely heinous way like what this dude did, your new life is going to jail forever. And it's like, yeah, he's reformed, whatever. Okay, great. Be reformed in jail. I don't know.
Fourth battle going on for over a decade.
That's your life now.
Might actually end with him finally being freed from prison. Gator was originally denied parole in 2011 after it was argued that he remained an unreasonable risk to society. And in 2016, he was denied again for 7 more years. Then, in 2019, multiple media reports indicated that his parole board actually approved his release. The California Board of Parole Hearings then finalized the decision, but on April 27, 2020, his parole grant was reversed by Governor Gavin Newsom, stating Rogalski needed to gain a deeper understanding of his crimes. In June of 2022, a San Diego County parole board granted him parole again, with his attorney citing the parole board's trained psychologist found him to be a low risk of danger to the public.
Low? Low? Shouldn't it be no? Not low.
So, Governor Gavin Newsom reversed the decision, ensuring that he would continue.
Look, there's this news thing. How to do a nollie tray flip. Oh my god.
To serve his sentence. With the continuous back and forth decisions being made, it's difficult to know if Gator will ever be released. Some people feel that he has served his time and is now reformed, with one comment reading, I came up in skateboarding around a lot of the old pro legends / icons, and it seems that the majority of them believe Gator deserves a second chance, and that what he did is truly not who he is. I'm in no way making excuses for his actions, but it wasn't like he had done this multiple times.
What the hell?
And he—
What? Man, anything with these butts. I really don't like these butts. Like, he literally... worst thing, and kill, and hide, and try to get away. Like, what? Like, you need some recourse.
I believe that he deserves a second chance. It's not like they're paroling a serial killer. I truly believe he feels awful for his crime and has been reformed. On the other hand, there's no shortage of people who feel the exact opposite.
First time chatter. I believe anyone can be reformed if they are willing to face their internal issues. It's a complicated situation because when it's a thing like this, where they've done such a terrible thing and then it's clear they've done wrong, they confess to doing wrong. Where do you draw the line? Is 30 years enough? Or do they need to be in prison forever? Should they get parole? Should they not? It's tough, you know? It is a tough thing. But I think in general, I lean towards like harsher for violent crime. But it's also not a good outlook to say like no one can ever change as well. That's not the best way to look too. But like, I don't know, it's tough. It's hard.
I don't care if he was the most famous of famous. What he did dictates a lifetime of bars. Paroling anyone after such heinous acts sets an awful precedent, one that society cannot afford. Anyone capable in the first place of committing such a crime should have the keys thrown away. Gator was one of those skaters I idolized as a young teen. I wanted to skate like him, be him in his rockstar way of life back then. But after hearing what he did, I sit and wonder every time there is a parole hearing why he is still breathing. I am sorry, but not sorry. There is no forgiveness for what he did to that woman. What's the point of paroling this monster? No one would have predicted he'd do that the first time. Now they say there's no reason to believe he'd do it again. This is a one-shot kind of crime. Off the streets forever. As of now, there's no way to tell how everything will turn out. Gator could very well be paroled at any time. Or he could ultimately spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Good video, hell yeah. Sick video, Dusted. Extremely serious subject matter and extremely hard ethical questions. But terrible. RIP. That's really, really sad.